Our weekly Torah portion Vayetze is so perfect for this Thanksgiving homecoming Shabbat. It begins with 6 Hebrew words, Vayetze Yaakov mi Beersheva, Vayelech Harana. Jacob left Beersheva, which, by the way, is now the 4th largest city in southern Israel. Jacob left Beersheva, and he traveled toward Haran. And Jacob's constant traveling is a thread in the Jewish story, beginning with his grandparents, Abraham and Sarah. Abraham is called Avraham HaIvri, Abraham the Hebrew, and that Hebrew word Ivri is directly related to the word over, one who is traveling, passing. The Jewish people, starting with Abraham, have always been traveling. We Jews are frequent flyers. Joseph, Jacob's son, will be referred to as an Ivri, traveling from the land of Israel to Egypt. Moses will be called one of those Ivri children by the Egyptians, and the prophet Jonah, in describing himself to the sailors, says, Ivri Anochi, I am an Ivri. The point? An Ivri, a Hebrew, a Jewish person, is not a person who is penned up in one place. Yet being on the move spiritually does not simply mean moving from place to place like traveling to and from Memphis on this Thanksgiving weekend. Traveling spiritually means developing the constant capacity to change and grow as we go. Or as Rabbi Menachem HaKohen phrases it, to be a Jew is to move from one discovery to the next. One thing is clear, though, moving forward informs and has defined our people throughout our history. This Thanksgiving weekend also dovetails beautifully with our Torah portion because in this week's Vayetze portion, Jacob's first wife, Leah, gives birth to her 4th child and says, Hapam odet Adonai al ken kara shemo Yehuda. I'm not making this up. This is literally this week. It says, she said, this time I will give thanksgiving to the Lord, and so I will name this child Judah, meaning thanks. If only more people knew this is where the name Jew or Judah, Yehudah, comes from. It literally means to be thankful, because to be a Jew means to be thankful as we change and grow. And there's no better exhibit A for changing and growing than the conniving brother we met last week in the Torah, who will become one of the patriarchs of the Jewish people, my son's namesake, Jacob. Last week in Torah time, Jacob stole the birthright from his brother Esau. Jacob used his father's blindness to steal his blessing. And then, having succeeded in shattering the family, Jacob attempts to twist the arm of God by making a vow this week. Jacob says, if God remains with me, if God protects me on this journey and gives me bread to eat and clothing to wear, and if I return safely to my father's house, then the Lord will be my God and I will set aside a tithe for God. What sort of spiritual hero is this character? Rabbi Ed Feinstein, a wonderful rabbi from LA, notes how badly our Jewish Jacob stories compare with the epic heroes of other traditions. Take Christianity, which speaks of its spiritual hero, also a Jew, born of immaculate conception and living a life perfect, untouched by sin. Or take Mohammed for Muslims, or Buddha and Eastern spiritual heroes. Our Jacob, different kind of spiritual hero. He's not born good or whole. He will never achieve perfection of character or spirit. Jacob is not a Jewish hero because of what he is. Jacob is a Jewish hero because of who he is becoming. The Jacob story chronicles the growth of a soul, the development of a mensch. This week, he dreams of a stairway to heaven, the basis for the most played song in the history of radio, Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. Jacob will wrestle with the angel. He will make mistakes, big mistakes. He will learn, struggle, and change. The story of Jacob is the story of defeat and renewal, of death and rebirth. And in this process, the hand of God is felt. This week, as Jacob is still being hunted by his brother, deceived by his uncle Laban, manipulated by his wives, yes, it will get even more challenging when he is devastated by the jealousy of his sons. And in each encounter, Jacob feels defeated. But each defeat, the rabbis teach, opens him to love, deepens him, brings him closer to wholeness. Through Jacob, we learn that every stage and age of life has its own blessing, challenge, and revelation. To open oneself to the love of a partner, a spouse, a loving family, to make peace with a relative or a friend, to experience deep sadness in mourning the death of a loved one, and then to rise and live again. Each choice, each moment, God's presence, I am with you through it all, God says to Jacob and to his descendants, us, I'm not finished with you. Jacob will wake up from his dream of angels and blessings and says what many of us have felt in places and moments we never planned. God is present, Jacob says, and I wasn't even aware of it until now. I always joke, Jacob teaches us how a Jew claps with one hand. Oh, as this week's Vayetze portion closes, Jacob's lingering and understandable fear of his brother Esau's revenge for wronging him ends, you guessed it, with Jacob not only thinking, but giving thanks. He realizes that he finally has to face up to his brother. So as the verses in the Torah portion end in chapter 32, verse 3, anticipating this brotherly reunion we will experience next week that's going to come off better than Jacob had expected, Jacob will pray the words in Genesis, set magnificently to music by the American-Israeli writer, composer, musical arranger, and conductor Yonatan Razel, who, like Eleanor, learned to play the cello and piano. The setting is the night before this reunion, with Jacob preparing to bring his family and gifts to his brother, Esau. But as many of us did before devouring turkey yesterday, or turning off the football game, or the volume down for a Thanksgiving prayer, Jacob does the same in the Torah. It's on the sheet in front of you. He cries out, Katonti mikol hachasadim umikol ha'emet she'asita et avdecha. I am humbled from all the kindness and truth and goodness that you, God, have done for me and showed me. Even when our ancestor Jacob feared the worst, he offered a prayer of thanksgiving to God. So as we hear Jacob's thanksgiving prayer, may we always remember that embedded in our very name as Jews, as children of Jacob and Judah, is the word thanksgiving. For no matter where you travel, God says, I am with you through it all. Amen.
קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. כי במקלי עברתי את הירדן, אתה הייתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. כי במקלי עברתי את הירדן, אתה הייתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. כי במקלי עברתי את הירדן, אתה הייתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. כי במקלי עברתי את הירדן, אתה הייתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. כי חסדך גדול עליי, כי חסדך גדול עליי. והצלת, הצלת נפשי משאול תחתיה. כי במקלי עברתי את הירדן, אתה הייתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. כי במקלי עברתי את הירדן, אתה הייתי שני מחנות, הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת.
Those are the words of Jacob. Amen.